Hello, audio check happening. I'm just going to check if it runs on all the channels. And welcome everyone to the Gnostic Takeover experience, where we manifest reality instead of having reality manufactured for us. What's the point of that? I'm here to experience life, so who tells me what my life should be except me? Exactly. So we're running, up and running. Audio is good. So yeah, thank you for tuning in here. We've got the great Liz with us.
Right.
And the Gnostic Takeover, because I've had a name change. The Steve was in the past. I still like a dog that you throw a bone, or when you say, "Come here," I listen to the name Steve Wybrow. However, I've changed my name to the Gnostic Takeover. I'm becoming an idea, so to say. And that's why we've called this video the Gnostic Takeover Experience. How does it actually feel to be involved with Gnosticism and Gnosticism coming back into this reality? What is true knowing? The end of all belief. You don't have to believe anything when you know deep in your heart what the truth is. No one can tell you what the truth is. No one tells me what the news is, because I am the news. I create reality instead of having reality manufactured for me. It goes along the lines that if you do not use your mind and become the commander of your mind, someone else will use your mind and command your mind and live a life that you don't want to live, but you're living someone else's life, how other people expect you to live. And that's the prison we want to break out. Because that, I've gone through this 20 years, 25 years, and then you realize I'm training myself to become myself, and I just let it go what other people think of me. They'll think something different 5 minutes later about me. And who are they to judge me? Who's anyone to judge me? And that's the path that the Gnostic Takeover puts forward. Has everything to do with sovereignty, has everything to do with activating natural intelligence, the intelligence that we are born with, that we're endowed with by the mother planet, Mother Earth. And that is the same intelligence that informs the plant kingdom, that intelligence. And we want to talk today about all of this. These are fascinating topics. And as I've said in a previous video, if we're not talking about the law of manifestation, if we're not talking about manifesting reality, then we are being deviated. We're being distracted. Because if we don't focus on that, how do you want to create paradise earth in freedom, where the psychopathic class is being shown the door, and above that door it says exit? Or, excuse my French, fuck off from our planet. You have to be bold with them. So we're not in crisis mode. We've had incredible experiences. That's why we've also got Liz here today with us, who finds it probably challenging to express herself in English. She's got more of Caribbean roots from the Dominican Republic, palm trees and sunshine. Well, we've got some good sunshine here in Europe too. And but still, we've been through a journey together, and I would say we can share today, because we are slowly phasing out from drama. We're slowly phasing out of crisis mode and being insecure with how we manifest reality, because that's the journey we've been on the last few months. And it's been the biggest challenge of our life, and that's why we want to give this forward to our community and to share this with everyone, because it always helped me when people were honest with me in the videos and talked about their processes and their challenges and their fears and the risks they took, and facing all the odds where everyone else says, "You're loco, oh, you can't do that." But hey, don't you put your limitations on me. I think everything is impossible until it's made possible. It is all impossible until it's done. And then people are like, oh, they actually managed to do it. I'm infinite. That's my starting point. I'm infinite and I create reality. However, it's the biggest challenge of our life. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So, what's been happening over the last months? When you reflect back, just think back, whatever you want to start with. What have we been going through? You can also share the story we've been through. You can also look all of this up here on the channel. We've shared many things about Saint Corona.
Yeah.
This is where me and Liz's path crossed again. That was in November, crossing over to December. You can go back and watch the videos 2021. And that's where our paths crossed again. And since then, we've been on quite the ride.
Yeah.
And we're still alive, we're still breathing, and we're ready to go further.
Yeah.
We're the power, aren't we?
Yeah, we won't give up. And leaving St. Corona was one of the best decisions I could make. However, it comes, how do I say? Some tests. If you really want to go for it, to be liberated, to be free, then go with it. And it comes that we have some fights with institutions, with the police. They want to traumatize us, so we go away from our path. And we have also challenges with judge, the court. I never have been to the court. However, they think they make decisions with that my will and the will of my child, and leave my child away from me because I am too dangerous. And
what, you're too dangerous?
Dangerous for them and for my children.
Why are you a danger to them?
Because I was realizing, manifesting the reality. I was on the way, or I am on the way to break through this emotional control system who wants to keep you in a box smaller than they are. Who is they? There are some creatures. They even are not from Earth, but they think they are better than mankind and women, no, women, humans being, and they have the right to rule over us, to create our reality, and to keep us under their control. How they do this? With emotional control. By keeping you in guilt, in some kind of a guilt modus and in fear modus. So you never go over your limitations. You keeping you small, feeling small, powerless. Give your power away to others who create for you and manufacture your reality as they want to have it. Not as you, not in your way, not in your interest. No. They want just to keep you small, under their control.
Again, that's you hit exactly the right point here. This is the topic of all topics because it's about the law of manifestation, that we're connected to the source of all creation. It's a holographic fractal pattern that manifests through us. Think of Leonardo da Vinci, the great genius, the Vitruvian Man. Type it into Google. Have a reminder of what the real five-pointed star really is. And then you can have an idea why in Satanism, in the old religion of Satanism, which really represents this vampire force. I like to talk about the Archon Vampire Empire and why they invert the pentagram and what the real pentagram is all about, the five, the power. And you really hit it on the nail. What is this system? Because I don't have a problem with the system.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with natural law. This is what we talk about here. This is Gnosticism. Gnosticism is finding out the secrets of life. Natural law, natural order, how the natural order really works. It's about the natural sciences. Natural law is a science. And to find out, I don't have a problem with the system also because the system would be based on contracts. However, this vampire force that wants, through the Covidian cult, as we've seen since the beginning of 2020, we've had the biggest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. They topped their last purge, their last plunder from 2008, and they want to continue along that trajectory through the control of the money supply. However, who's backing the money? That's the questions that the Gnostic Takeover asks. Who is the insurance for the money supply? And where the true power lies? And it's always with us. So we don't have a problem with the system. Absolutely not. The system is not the problem if it were based on contracts. However, these vampires, they want to intimidate you into contracting with them and consenting with them. And that's where Liz, absolutely, that's exactly what we should be talking about. What is this control system? Because if it were based on contracts and people were free to choose who to contract with and have insurance in these contracts, there's no problem whatsoever with that. And that's what a true government should be really based on. Insurance and public officials that act according to the interests for mankind without causing damages or harm, because for harm, according to contract law, there has to be insurance. There's no problem with that whatsoever. However, there is what Wetiko is a virus in this system. It's corruption. It's evil. And what they've done, like they always do, they invert everything. So they inverted contract law. And I think this is where you can tell us a lot about, because we've directly experienced this, and especially Liz, in her encounters with social services. They broke into our home without a search warrant, completely illegal, with an illegal, not even a document from the court, because a document would be a document if it were signed by the judge. That would be a document, but otherwise it's not a complete document. Okay, that's where the criminality starts. They broke into our home and they took Liz's child on the 28th of February 2022. And since then, me and Liz have been going through our shadow work to manifest the reality that we choose. Because we have free will, we are connected to the one and only highest source of all creation. And if there's anyone who has a problem with me manifesting my reality, then I'll tell them where to go. And you can tell us a lot about this emotional control system. So how were they trying to work you? What were they trying to do? What was your experience?
Made me fear.
Who exactly?
The children's care service. After traumatizing me, they want me to bring me in a contract so I can deliver them the signature. If I deliver them the signature, they would be authorized to do these things they are doing. Things. It's a business model, if you want to say, where they put the liability and authorization over their things, their actions on you. They make pressure. If you don't do this, you won't see your child. Never. And if you don't do this, at first it comes. If you don't do this, you won't see your children the next up till 6 weeks. And during this process and asking after them, they will say you have to sign, you have to do this, deliver this document from your child. Otherwise, you won't see your child again. You will come to an institution where all the children are there, and you won't see it. Never. If you don't do this, what will tell you? This is under pressure. This is obligation. Obligate someone to do the things you need from them. It's not right. And this is a big tradition there to keep the mothers in some kind of fear box. So they do everything they want from the mothers, just not to lose the children. And they think I would break down and say, please, give me my child away back. I do everything you want. I choose to do the right things. I choose to go through my own shit, to heal it, to let everything come up, every traumatas, every wants, every last past emotions from the past. And when you are make this decision, then you are not under their control, because they want you to keep it under control. We have to realize that the real currency is our energy, and they want to feed you energy. They want you that you give the power to them, because they are vampires and they live from your energy. They feed you energy. You fear expectations, and if it doesn't work, you are frustrations. So you give up and stay in a victim mode. A victim cannot take responsibility, and this is a mirror to them, because they are not able to face their emotions. They are not able to feel these emotions, and they are not able to take responsibility. That's why they want to bring you in their boat, or could I say, in their ship, so that you are able to take the responsibility on you, because you feel guilty, because you feel small, and because they let you think they are more than you, they are stronger than you, and you have to obey. And that's where I say no, not with me. It happens so often, so many women, and it has to stop. And even now, when I know where my child is, the next one they want to bring you, that you go to the contract, is your own sister.
So this is the big update that we have to share. We've only just been told yesterday, which is the reason we're doing this video, because it's a massive breakthrough. Didn't felt like this, I reckon, for you, Liz, because there's many. You see, as I keep showing the truth hidden in the deep waters, you only have access to the truth when you face the real rocks in that are over your heart from past trauma. And I always love the saying, "Oh yeah, you're so enlightened. Well, show me how you deal with 1 week with your family, and then let me see how enlightened you are." It's the family that are closest to us. However, that's the main update, so we know where Leonie, the child of Liz, is. And it was a massive breakthrough because up to yesterday we didn't know where she was. And this is the way these institutions play with you. They want to keep you in the unknown unless you do what they tell you. It's like the carrot and the stick technique. If you don't follow the carrot that they put in front of you, they will want to give you the stick. But the Gnostic Takeover is all about facing them, gazing them in the eye and saying, "I'm a lion, you little demon. What are you going to do about the lion's gaze? The king of the animal kingdom." And that has everything to do with the activation of the king archetype. Coming from the plant kingdom, not what you read in history books, how they demonize kings. Real kings are those endowed with natural intelligence and that know the true nature of the command and the importance of that. And what Liz experienced is what we can more and more see now. I've been guided in my research to look deeper into the workings of mind control. And what you have here with these institutions, social services, it's like a laboratory of Dr. Josef Mengele and mind control. Because he didn't stop with the Nazis. He worked under the pseudonym Dr. Green in America, as we know from the information from Kathy O'Brien. Transformation of America and the MK Ultra program that continued on. That's what the real happenings here on this earth are. It's not Bill Gates and the control of the pharmaceutical cartel. That's a symptom. However, you're going deeper into the causality of freedom when you know about mind control. And the methods that they use in social services and through the workings of the court and the judge who, in their religion, their religion of Satanism, they make the judge to be some kind of god, just like the high priest of Satanism, by his fellow worshippers, is viewed as the god. Oh, he's the priest and we are his followers. But what do you do with Gnosticism? And that relates to why the Pope says Gnosticism is very dangerous. Go and look that up. Yeah, because Gnosticism and true knowing doesn't need belief. What do you do with people that do not subordinate themselves into the religious order? And they'll try to break you through torture techniques.
Yeah.
And this directly relates to mind control. They play with your emotions. Oh, you don't know where your child is. Oh, you'll only know if you sign. You just have to sign this contract with the devil. But when you can see through that, you can use the torture techniques that they work on you. You can use them for your own awakening, because it will bring up all the layers of emotions to heal that. And that's what eventually makes you break through the emotional mind control system that is being run by this vampire empire, the Archon vampire empire, whose days are numbered. And if you have a few more months, you can count yourself lucky, because we're coming after them. And you can only really come after them and really have true wisdom, which has everything to do with natural intelligence. There's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. People don't listen to theoretical, like the days are over for these gurus when they stand in front and you've got some Hare Krishna in front there of some order in India, and let's listen to the Indian how he tells us we should just be in the moment. Those days are over. The spiritual bubble is being busted. No, people listen to actual experience. When you had to face hardship and come through the other end transformed, you can be that guiding light for people and tell them there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I tell you, there's a flashing massive light at the end of the tunnel of the Covidian cult's control system. Oh, and it's going to happen again in the autumn. No, you lock us down and we take you down. Archon Vampire Empire. Your days are numbered, and we can speak from direct personal experience, which gives you the wisdom and then the responsibility to share this with all of mankind. Because through that, it gets into the collective consciousness, and you connect the dots with the information that you get here, and you see, well, actually, this is similar to what I experienced there. So it's a massive pressure that they put on you.
Yeah.
So much pressure. However, you can activate the magnetics, which is like in Austria we call it a ventil. It's like a pressure release system. And it comes through the heart. You have to go through. You have to face those emotions. And this is where it all links to shadow work. I think we can talk a lot about that. Shadow work and what it has to do with manifesting reality. Because you make an intention, we're creative beings. And this reality works on intentions. If you don't set an intention, you're not creating that reality. You're always just reacting to stimulus of your environment. What the environment wants from you. Oh, everyone wants something from you. However, what's your intention? What do you want to see manifest? And I, for example, me and Liz, we set our intention every day. We go into the river, into the ice cold water every day. At days we don't feel like it. But you see, we know where the comfort zone leads you. And these watered down spiritual principles that are not true. That's why we talk about the plant medicine, ayahuasca and datura, and the intelligence of the plant kingdom, which teaches you everything about discipline. You can also have, like today, for example, after you've done your intention in the ice cold water and you've made your commands like we do, you can rest. Doesn't mean you have to be disciplined the whole day and stay up and not sleep anymore. That's not what it means, because the mind does that. Oh, they say you have to have discipline, and that's why it's so difficult, and you have to take into the other extreme. No. You just show your intention every day, and that's what makes the difference.
Yeah.
And it focuses you directly on that what you want to create. It will always, because otherwise, if you leave out a few days and you're not doing it for a whole week, that intention is slowly moving. Oh, those vampires don't want you manifesting that intention of freedom. They'll deviate your thoughts away from it. And you won't even notice it. Which is the reason why we do it every single day. And we do it in the ice cold water. And what's the reason behind that? What is it to do with water that's so powerful and so important in that process?
Because water is a gate. It's a gate who helps you program to enter another reality. For example, you can program your cells, reality you want to have, and helps you to as we know, water has can remembering, and it connects you. We are most of water, so these two waters connect each other and helps you to create the reality you want to have, to set your intentions. What happens? You set your intention. After then, emotions will come up. It depends on what intentions you set, but all lower emotions will come up, and it's really important to recognize it. There are emotions from the past comes up to be felt, to be healed, to be released, and not to start in them, because our mind creates some kind of trap and wants to keep you in these emotions, so you identify yourself with these emotions.
But they have to come up to the surface to be healed, don't they?
Yes, they have to. Otherwise, you would carry it with you and you are not able to create the reality you want to have. You create the past again. That is the ghost or the past of past experience who is with you.
What I call the mind of past experiences.
Yeah. And it creates worst case scenarios, big drama, so you stay stuck and can sometimes stay stuck in a victim mode. So you get tunnel vision and not able to see the full picture. And yes, feel it. Heal. Take your time for heal. And release it. Because it doesn't belong anymore for you. And it's a blockage. And was during I'm speaking, have to realize to be thankful that these emotions come up and let it go in peace. Be thankful that you recognize it. Be proud of you that you recognize it, and that you was able to feel it and not going crazy. Maybe in the moment you will go crazy, but it will pass away like a wave. And then you stay on your ground, more anchored than before, stronger than before. And a new way or a new perspective will bring you or will help you to stay on your path.
And this is the key thing in the law of manifestation. So you've got two potentials, and I love the symbology of the river of change, where we realize we've been programmed by the old religion of Satanism. They've structured all of society according to their old religion of Satanism without anyone knowing it. Satanists are not the Hollywoodized version of it that you see in Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, they do that too, on a much more dramatic scale. They do that too, but they make these movies for a reason, for you to have a picture. Oh, that's what Satanism is. No, you realize the more you heal Wetiko inside of you, this mind virus, you'll be able to observe the patterns of Wetiko in society. And then you realize, geez, my grandmother's a Satanist, hardcore Satanist, and she wouldn't even know. Oh no, she's just your grandmother. Oh, she's a lovely woman. But all that exists for grandmother is a tunnel vision. And they've structured society directly according to the patterns of their satanic religion, which is all about mind control and the end product. Let's speak about the end product. To keep giving energy to the vampires. Starve them. That's when you'll experience true awakening. Starve those vampires, and that's why I had to quit smoking, quit drinking alcohol. I'm heading up to a year not drinking alcohol. Do you think I would have ever thought I would do that? It was the vampires who were, it's like this devil in your ear, in your mind, telling you, oh, it's Friday, you can open up a beer. Oh, just enjoy. And deviate your intention of freedom, deviate it somewhere where it leads nowhere, because you're the danger. How can I be in danger when I am the danger? And that's what it's all about. Realizing the real currency, as Liz said, is energy. And that's what this Wetiko virus control system, that is what keeps the loop going, is the energy you feed it. Because you create that loop. They don't want you to know that. They would want you to believe that you can't change anything. We're back to the tunnel vision. Oh, you can't change anything. But they would never want you to realize that it's independent of everyone outside of you. It's only you who feeds that vampire system. That energy transfer doesn't happen like it's often said in the truth community that I always point out. Oh, the others still have to wake up. No, are you still feeding the vampires? That's what true sovereignty would say. Oh no, I'm sovereign. I don't give these freaking vampires anything anymore. Because they're genociding here on Earth and they have no legitimacy to show. That's what we did with the institutions, for example. You ask them for legitimacy and they ain't got none. They're a privately run company called countries. How do I know that? Because they can't show proof of claim. Because they're running a vampire system without contracts. I certainly never signed up for UN Agenda 2030. However, they're implementing it without a contract. That's a vampire system. And coming back to the emotional work again, because I like to, you see, I go into the Eagle Thunderbird medicine, and it shows you exactly the workings of this system and how all the countries are set up in its structure like a multinational corporation. It's like McDonald's. However, what do you do with people who don't freaking eat McDonald's anymore? That's called freedom. It's Gnosticism. It's those who take the planet back. It's those that we don't play these stupid games anymore. And we don't give them their energy anymore. And what's so important, what I point out, what powers this loop, and I'll go much deeper into the magnum opus, as you can see, that's what I'm mostly involved in, is getting a child back to her mama. And helping each other and being the support that we need in order to make that happen. That's what I'm mostly involved in, and that's where we extract all the wisdom to know exactly how the system actually works, because this system takes children.
Yeah.
It's a child trafficking pedophile ring, a child trafficking satanic pedophile ring, and there's not a thing these suckers can do about it, and me exposing it. Because if there's ever been a time to expose it, it is now. They have no legitimacy to be here on Earth. And we have all the legitimacy because we are the power, we are the source, I am the law. We are the law. And what I want to point out here for everyone, what helps is to realize that you make an intention, you're crossing that river of change from who you thought you are based on past experiences. That's not who you are. That's your state of being in the moment now. But by making an intention, from being, you're creating a becoming. And you have to cross the river of change to get there, from point A, where you start on that side of the river, and cross over to the other side of the river. And you'll make it. You'll just have to know that what you'll be faced with is personality A here, and personality B, where you want to get to, is a higher frequency. So when that is a low frequency and that is a higher frequency, what you have in between, resistance. And this is what people don't realize. They'll fall into the trap of the resistance and say, oh, I tried everything, but it just doesn't work. No, all the natural intelligence, which is what we're talking about here, natural intelligence is all about the manifestation of reality. All that the plant kingdom intelligence, the intelligence that informs the plant kingdom, is putting you under tests and always asking you, how much do you really want it? Because that is what will connect you back to life. There's no other way with connecting you back to the life force, because everything else is under mind control. So the way the plant medicine thinks is, how can I get them out of the mind control bubbles and connect them to the life force energy that created it all? That's how the medicine thinks. That's why plant kingdom intelligence will never give you what you want, but always what you need, and then it will give you what you want when you don't need the tests anymore, when you've pulled through, when your education in that semester of reality manifestation is done. But not you, the student. You don't say when it's done. That's what I had to learn also. The plant medicine will guide you along the way and lovingly will always give you what you need, and you'll get the reality you want once you've worked through those blockages, those resistances, the emotions that come up that make you cross from point A of the side of the river, crossing the river of change, to point B of reality manifestation. And there's a trap that I want to point out here, as Liz also said. There's a trap, always the same trap. As you're crossing the river of change, is what I call Wetiko through the back door. So you set an intention. The emotions come up that have to come up because it's from the past. Those are stuck traumatic experiences and emotions that are stuck in the body that have to come out, because you want to go from the low frequency to the high frequency. So you have to get rid of the low to that's teleportation for you. That's real teleportation. So the low vibration emotion has to come to the surface. So then Wetiko through the back door comes in. And as these emotions are coming up, what Wetiko tries to do is to attach the mind to those emotions. So you're feeling those emotions, and then the mind wants to connect with those emotions and create the story of the past and recreate it again. However, all that you have to do when the emotions come up is go bonkers like I go, for example. And that's why I go out in the forest and then I'll just shout for a minute and nothing happens. I get it out of my system. And by knowing what the process is, we don't stay stuck in it and let Wetiko through the back door come in, because you're in the process of healing and releasing those emotions. And Wetiko through the back door would want to attach to those emotions that you're releasing and recreate the disease again. Recreate the past again. Which is those who control the past control the future. Those who control the present control the past. Like George Orwell. This massive quote. So we have to heal the past to create a new future. There's no forward if you don't heal backward in the now. And there'll be all sorts of tests and intimidation techniques by the barking dog Archon Vampire Empire. It's always barking. However, the best way you can put it is what I had in one of the slides previously. It's behind a fence. Well, let the dog bark. It's demented. It's dementia. It's what Gnostics describe the Archons. It's a barking dog. It's behind a fence. It can't directly get to you unless you let it and you consent. Then the dog will pull you into the fence that it's in and put you into a smaller box than it is. Because it, by creation, is fenced because it is finite. That's why I call them the forces of limitation. They are limited by creation because they're the involutionary force. Involution stays stuck and is limited. And they want to pull everyone else into involution. That's why we are the evolutionary force. The force of evolution. We heal our past and we change the whole fabric of reality to a new future. And this is what the real war is. While all the distractions happening in the alternative media, oh, what's going to happen? They're doing this, they're doing that. It's a war on your psyche. It's a war on your mind. Where is World War III? It's a war on timelines. And what the Gnostic Takeover is doing, we open the communication channel of the plant medicine, natural intelligence, those who know better. The plants certainly know how to manifest fruits if we take care of them. Oh, they're in no doubt. Oh, I won't be able to create fruits and oh no, they're all too powerful for me. The plant fucking doesn't it just goes for it. Break through concrete. If the plants can do it, then we can have a little bit of humility and eat a little bit of humble pie and say, well, that plant, that intelligence, that knows better. That's why the plant medicine will always only give you what you need, and then you'll get what you want. And then you will be that intelligence, which has been the single thing the satanic cult, the Covidian cult, was trying to prevent people from busting that bubble. It's the access to natural intelligence. And this is what we're breaking through right now, and we can see the light at the end of the tunnel because we're creating a new reality. A reality where after breaking into our house and kidnapping Leonie, those institutions who are an expression, it's like the Russian doll, one puppet within another puppet. You'll just have to keep unpacking, and those men and women at these institutions will have no other choice than to realize, oops, I'm held privately liable for kidnapping, human trafficking, child trafficking. That's the truth. That's the truth that they can't escape from. And we'll be sitting there with all patience, and watch how their bubble bursts. Because what they don't realize is that I come from a position where I'm their psychologist, seeing through their delusion. I know what the delusion of the judge is, who the man who at times acts as judge. I know what the delusion of these bailiffs. I know what the delusion of his sister is. It's the same delusion like the woman at the social services. And I'll just sit there as their psychologist and just watch how that bubble bursts. And then like, "Ah, I'm privately liable. This could be the end of your life, but we wouldn't ever ruin anyone's life. All we ever wanted is Leonie back. Because we don't do this. Destroying other people's lives. Business. It's what the dark occultists have been doing. And this is the point where we set the boundary, we set the law. I am the law, we are the law. And they can't cross that boundary because they're a dog behind a freaking fence, barking its head off, because creation works differently to how their dementia and their programming is. And that's what we need to have. We have to face up to these overlords and see that they're not all powerful and it's just a barking dog behind a fence. That's why it's all about intimidation. It's about blackmail, Erpressung, and torture techniques.
And the challenging thing is that we have to recognize how important it is not to give our power away to another people, to another institutions. So they are not able to manage and manufacture our reality. We are the real power. We are the real source of life and creation. And we have to set our intention, make our decision, clearly decisions, and stand strong behind these decisions. So we are able to stand our ground and take responsibility and create the reality we want really to have. And yes, of course, it's a little bit challenging. A little bit is soft. It's a bit challenging. But we are here to make this kind of experience because it helps us to get in our real power. Yeah. This is the meaning of self-empowerment, of sovereignty. And it is not to be hooked on anyone else's opinion. This is a big thing because my family is involved on this, and I had the pattern, so I will still have that. I was thinking it does matters what they think about me. Even I am the crazy one. I don't have a lot of education like them, but my knowledge is much more deeper. I worked the last month to get to go deep. There's a lot of things to get a lot of knowledge. Even they are not able to realize what kind of knowledge and how to act with this knowledge. They would go to a Laura and they would do exactly what the Laura tells them, and not anymore, not anything else. And I am invited to say, I have enough. I think I have more knowledge than anyone lawyer. And if I tell this is so, then it is so. It doesn't matter what you say about it. Yeah. And I won't give up.
Exactly. And Liz is a beautiful example of, because she's a doer, she's a checker,
Yeah.
and she gets things done. That's the power, a force of nature that creates reality and does reality management, and beautifully can put together and make juices, make jams, and all sorts of things. Conserve food. Amazing knowledge. That's the real knowledge that people should be learning in schools. And she's right now in the next challenge along, and which is leading to the end of this phase, which has been the biggest challenge of our life.
Yeah.
The only challenge we need to master now and heal is a conflict between her and her sister, which is in the family. And healing the family, it will heal the family dynamics also, and that will be the last obstacle, because of with Leonie, this child being with her sister, which we know again since yesterday. What's the next destination going to be for Leonie? It can only be with her mother, because the social services already had to give Leonie to her sister. Because, and I want to emphasize this, because of the actions that we took. Because of the choice that we made to not give our consent with evil. Because we would know, if we sign up or sign a contract with social services or any of these criminal institutions, you would be complicit with evil. And this is what we should be focusing on, is removing our complicity with evil. If you do that, you stop feeding the vampires, and you'll be anchored in original, natural, organic reality. You stop feeding the artificial construct of the mind chatter that, as Liz, and I want to point it out again, as Liz described really well, it will create worst case scenarios, put you into a victim mode, and that's what keeps the tunnel vision and that bubble going. And we can only share from our experience, and we'll keep going. This is the Gnostic Takeover, is an idea that I've given all my trust in. If I were to encounter the plant medicine directly, I would know that the most important is, for me in my life, is the Gnostic Takeover. I'll walk right into the Vatican. Because once you break through the challenges in the microcosm, like we've had with Leonie, you can apply all of this wisdom and knowing how the vampire criminal system inversion of contract law, how you can end it. The whole world system is set up on it. They are private multinational companies who have licensed, they've got a license from the UN, and it's a trust fund. It's a trust system. And they've indebted all of these companies, multinational companies, who've got subsidiaries. They're cartel areas. That cartel is called Germany. And when you cross over the border to Austria, you're moving into a different cartel zone. Germany might be more focused on the production of automobiles, not talk about free energy technology, because with Tesla they needed to put that under a bubble. But Germany is more focused on this, and you've got these cartel areas. And this is the reason why we had to go so deep in our healing and continue to go deep in full trust that this is leading to freedom. And there's only this path, because I won't tolerate this situation anymore that we find ourselves in right now. I don't tolerate it. I have a very, very low tolerance. And straight away when they pulled out the muzzles, I said, this is it. We have to set the law, set the boundary. No one tells me what to do. And this is the message that we put forward from our direct experience, which is the most valuable you can share. And we'll keep on this topic of creating reality. It's what natural intelligence does. Natural intelligence creates reality, like the plants create fruits, creation. And in the fruit, you've got all the seeds for the organic timeline. That's what we are anchoring in, and with this information, it's the flame that's catching, much more catching than the flu. Natural intelligence, it's the time. And it's holistic intelligence. And we'll stay on that track, and I've got the magnum opus, which will be done at the right time, because it's a massive endeavor. It's a 3 to 4 hour presentation. And as you can see, it's more important that the child comes back to her mother first, to her mama. That's what we're doing right now. And we'll continue sharing this message. The knowledge of the real law of manifestation in alignment with natural law principles, the principle of mentalism. You think this reality is materialistic? Well, you've been tricked by the satanic cult. It's not a materialistic reality when you know it's all frequency based, energy, frequency, and vibration. And like the term that Carl Gustav Jung used, it's the reality of the psyche. Your reality is a reality of the psyche, in the nature of the psyche. So what is there to fear? It's your psyche. It's the principle of mentalism. So all of that we'll keep sharing with you. And as I said before this video started, I asked the plant medicine for help, so people can support us, support the message, the Gnostic Takeover message, in any way you can. Share this video wherever you can. Put a comment underneath. Connect with us. There's also an email address underneath. You want to do an interview, or you want to share, write an email. And we'd be very happy also to receive financial support, because as is our experience, we have no one behind us telling us what to do. I'm a private investigator, actually, a truly free, independent journalist about the workings of the occult, natural law, and the knowledge that they do not want you to know. And we need support, and we are happy to ask for help. We don't have any guilt with it, because we're doing the right thing. And we know what our value is, we know what our worth is, and it's infinite, therefore there's no price tag to it, and will never be. Because we're in trust to the one and only source, to the one and only life source that will support and will always support those who act in honor, whose actions are backed up in honor, in truth, and that truth has a resonance, and you'll feel it. I'm not here to deceive you. I'm only here for my freedom, and I opened up this channel in order to share, because it's my responsibility that whatever I get to find out, I share with my community. I share with the people who want to know about the workings of natural law because, oh, now I know about natural law. The first time I heard the word natural law was in 2014. And you know how often that has changed? And every day when I wake up, I'm gobsmacked by the magic that natural law truly is. And I just want to find out more. It's an omnipotent source that we can connect with. And we don't just want to connect ourselves to it. We're here to share with everyone so they themselves connect with that omnipotent source without being dependent on what Steve says or what Liz says. And they're the new priests. It's the end of priesthood.
Yeah.
That's natural intelligence. Do you think the plant medicine, ayahuasca and datura, wants us to see her as the great goddess and she's above us? No. She'll laugh at you when you think like that. But she'll honor you when you give your full gratitude to the process. And she says, this guy knows. And I'll give him more and I'll give her more because that's the message that the world should hear. Even if we come from nowhere. Even if people think, oh, they've got nothing to say. I dropped my studies in 2017. Liz has never studied, but is more educated on the workings of finance and how it relates to law than many of the initiates in the pathetic little Freemasonic cult. Knowledge that is only there for the initiates. And we have access to this knowledge because we were guided to this knowledge by the plant medicine. And we share it freely. So we've been very thankful, and we're thankful to everyone who has supported us, which is the reason why we've kept going until now. We've also got a date set for our first presentation. With the Gnostic Takeover is going public. Yeah. And then once it gets to a certain stage, the whole media will go crazy. And look, he's talking about vampires. And yeah, what's the problem? What do you think this whole monetary system is based on? And everyone's robbed. And how do you think this inflation is coming to place now? We've got everything to explain everything. We just come forward with the knowledge that we have, and we don't give a F what anyone thinks about it. Because you know what? If we would know the actual truth, you wouldn't be able to live with it. The truth is so crazy. The truth, the absolute truth of interdimensionals want to keep you in a bubble, infinite realities, teleportation, other civilizations, how many multiverses there are in the multiverses of the universes. That's crazy. But only in the perception of the crazies. But we only do truth because that's what will lead us to freedom. So thank you for everyone who has supported us. And again, we ask kindly for help so we can keep going and pay our rent for next month because we want to fulfill our contracts. No problem with the system whatsoever. If I sign a contract, I will always pay in honor. And this is the time where something massive has shifted from yesterday. And we're moving forward with a lot of power because we have the direct reflection now, reality that we're manifesting that reality. Leonie is safe. And the next destination is back to her mama. And we'll create that reality outcome, and everyone is invited to get inspiration away from the tunnel vision. The power source is with all of us. So do you have anything more to add?
We are invited to recognize that, how powerful we are and how precious. And said we are able to create the reality we want to have. So keep on going. Don't give up yourself. You are more precious more bigger and greater than you think that you are. So don't let other rule you, over you, and your perception, over your reality. Don't give your power away. You are too precious. So recognize it. Thank you for everything outside.
Yeah, and realize that these dark occultists, they have you when you give up.
Yeah.
One of the guiding lights of my reality manifestation is the quote from Paulo Coelho: life is falling down 7 times and getting up 8 times. That's all it is. Always get up one more time. And we can do that much better when we know how reality creation works. For example, I've been going into the ice cold water since September last year. Still doing it. And still it's challenging at times in the morning. But I feel great afterwards. All you have to do is go in and realize I've had enough of suffering. I can create any reality that I want. You have all the potential because you, like we, are endowed with natural intelligence. This is the message of plant kingdom intelligence that creates the kings and queens here on this earth, mankind, and spirit of mankind, being kind, and setting the boundaries with evil. And I do not consent with evil. And that power is also with you. Keep going. We are manifesting the reality of freedom, and there's nothing that can stop us because that's what we came here to do. So till next time, take very good care